Did you know Air France flies tiny Airbus A320s not just around Europe but across the Caribbean and even into South America? Today I'm flying one of the strangest routes they operate, and trust me, it gets chaotic. Welcome to France. Or is it? Well, it kind of is, but it's not the France in Europe, home to baguettes and people with rings of garlic around the neck. No, this is France in South America. The other thing that French Guiana has, that the real France has, is a huge hub for Air France. It's got boulangeries, patisseries, Peugeots. It's all here in a tiny dependency of South America called French Guiana. Today, I'm going to be taking a flight on an Air France Airbus A320 all the way up to Miami in Florida, stopping off at tons of little French islands along the way. This is Cayenne International Airport in French Guiana, South America, and today I'm going to be taking a flight on an Air France Airbus A320 all the way to Miami in the US of A. Let's go inside and get checked in for probably the most random Air France route that there is. The airport at Cayenne is quite nice, but with a check-in line that looked like it was the line to a Celine Dion concert, I was just pretty pleased that I checked in online and could head straight to security. I made it through security, through passport control, and now time to head to the Air France lounge here in Cayenne Airport. That's all very straightforward. We had to wait for everybody to turn up. It's early in the morning, they're not quite here yet, but they were just opening up, and they've let me through, so here we are. Let's go and check out the lounge. And so it was time to head to the lounge, where I was excited to finally put my GCSE French skills to the test. Bonjour, ça va?
Ça va et vous?
Oui.
D'accord.
Merci.
Oui. Un instant. Un instant, vous allez patienter.
Yes. Sorry.
Soyez le bienvenu.
Merci. Did I mention my GCSE was over 30 years ago? Alright, so I got my coffee, we are all set. Air France's Airbus A320s are usually busy shuttling around Europe on short-haul routes like this, pretty standard stuff. But then take a look across the Atlantic. Here's where things get pretty unusual. From Miami and Montreal, Air France runs these island-hopping routes down through the French Caribbean, Guadeloupe and Martinique, all the way down to Cayenne and French Guiana and even on to Brazil. It's the exact same planes that you'd normally see flying from Paris to Nice, now doing milk runs across the tropics. The chance today to fly on an Air France A320 in South America, taking me back to America. Pretty cool. And pretty soon it was time to get on board my first flight of the day.
Concernant l'embarquement de votre vol Air France 601, patientez pour cette demande Air France membre de SkyTeam. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, Air France flight AF6. We invite customers traveling.
Merci, thank you. Well, here we go then, boarding an Air France A320 to America. Let's go. Alright then, welcome on board Air France's Airbus A320. It's going to take me today all the way up to Miami in Florida from down here in the depths of South America. It's about a 6 or 7 hour run today I'm doing. It's in a Euro business configuration, which is basically a standard economy seat with the middle seat blocked off. That doesn't change just because it's an Air France plane on the other side of the world. In contrast to planes like American Airlines or United or any of the American carriers actually that have a proper business class seat, this one doesn't. But hey, it's okay. We get a blanket and we get a pillow and questionable leg room. What more do you need? Not your usual Air France setting, palm trees, rainforests, and now an A320 taxiing out of South America. But it's time to leave Cayenne behind. 6 hours of flying ahead with a few island stops to keep things interesting. Here we go. And then we are airborne from French Guiana, heading north, eventually across the Caribbean Sea towards the USA. First stop today is the French island of Martinique, which is about a 2 hour flight from here. It feels so strange being on board an Air France Airbus A320, the plane that's taken me on flights from Frankfurt to Paris or from Lisbon to Paris, all around Europe, and now I'm on one on the other side of the world. know, I originally had this flight booked to take about a year ago now. Unfortunately, I ended up getting stranded in Suriname in the capital city Paramaribo, which is the next country along to French Guiana, because their local airline cancelled the flight, and I missed my connection to get this flight up to Miami. So I've been wanting to do this for so long, and finally here I am on board an Air France A320 in the Caribbean.
And I didn't have too long to wait before it was lunchtime.
Right, time for the lunch, the déjeuner. Today's choice was either chicken or chicken. I went for the chicken. Seemed like a solid option. Looks like it's some sort of lemony kind of herby chicken. Let's give it a go. It's not bad. It's not too bad.
And then it was time for the dessert.
And so the chicken curry was quite nice, but you know the icing on the cake is this. It's like a rum cake type thing. Oh my goodness, it is so nice with like a toffee sort of sauce on the top. Oh, amazing.
One thing I did really like is that the Wi-Fi actually tells you when you'll lose your Wi-Fi signal, a map of both the route you'll follow and the signal gaps. Genius. And speaking of ingenuity when it comes to browsing the web, it's time to talk about this week's sponsor, Incogni.
You see, here's the problem. Our personal information is everywhere online. Data brokers collect and sell it without us even knowing. Your name, your address, your phone number, even details about your family can all be floating around on dozens, sometimes hundreds, of shady websites. But that's where Incogni comes in. You see, with your permission, they contact data brokers on your behalf to get your information removed, and not just once, but over and over again to keep it gone. And here's the part that I really like. It's not just automated. If you find your data on a site that matters to you, you can send in a custom removal request, and Incogni's team will go after that one too. That means you're not just ticking boxes, you're actually in control of where your information stays and where it doesn't. Incogni saves me hours that I'd never have the patience for and lowers the risk of scams, spam and identity theft. So if you'd like to try it, head across to incogni.com/NoelPhillips, that's incogni.com/NoelPhillips, and use code NoelPhillips to get 60% off an annual plan. Thanks to Incogni for supporting this trip, and now let's get back to the flight.
It was soon time to put the tray tables away as we began our descent into the island of Martinique. And in a landing that resembled less of a landing and more of a controlled collision, we'd arrived into Martinique.
Alright, then on the ground in Martinique, first stop of the day. Passengers getting off here. A lot of people will use this just to connect between the islands, the French ones at least. So we're here for about 30 minutes now. A few more passengers will be getting on, and then we'll be moving on to our next stop of the day.
And after a slightly clumsy pushback, we taxied out for takeoff from Martinique.
Righty ho then, there goes the island of Martinique behind us. Next stop now is the island of Guadeloupe. It's about a 30-minute flight now up there from Martinique. We are running about 30 minutes behind schedule, which is slightly concerning because when we get to Pointe-à-Pitre, you have to get off the plane and sort of go through transit and get back on the plane again after that. I know what that airport is like to transit at. It ain't the best. As quickly as we climbed, we are now descending down into Pointe-à-Pitre in Guadeloupe. I am getting my running shoes on, ready to go. I know it's the same plane, but I also know it's Guadeloupe. And I know that the security there can be an absolute nightmare. It was the other day when I flew through there. Big lines, rude staff, the works. It's not the most pleasant of airports, and I'm pretty certain that they're going to want me to go through transit security and everything before I get back on the same plane there.
So with my running shoes firmly on, we began our descent down into the island of Guadeloupe, a place I've flown through before but never really had a pleasant experience at. For a brief, fleeting moment, Guadeloupe was actually behaving itself. A nice approach, a tidy touchdown. But then, of course, well, this is Guadeloupe.
Oh, back in Guadeloupe, it's just a shit as it was yesterday. We're boarding 5 minutes ago.
So with the jet bridge defeated, it was time to bring out Plan B.
In a few moments we will put stairways and forward left of the aircraft.
As the stairs edged closer to the plane, my chances of making my connection seemed to be edging further away.
Merci, bye-bye. Can't make it up, can you?
But actually, it seems you could make it up the spiral staircase that was at the end of the jet bridge.
Miami, yeah. So, yeah. Thank you. Okay, merci, thank you.
Avoir votre carte d'embarquement ainsi qu'une pièce d'identité ou le passeport. Très bien, avancez vers l'avant. Merci à vous, à tout à l'heure. Bonjour.
Well, that actually went a lot smoother than I thought it would. They literally just walked us straight up the jet bridge that we're about to go back down again, which is nice, so we can get back on the same plane. And maybe have to go down 15 flights of stairs to get there again, but hey, never mind. We are here in Guadeloupe for about 10 minutes.
Sky priority? Okay, thank you. Just here.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bonjour. Hi, bonjour. Alright, back on board. Same plane, same seat. Heading north now, all the way up to Miami, the last leg of our Air France milk run today. Or should I say late run. Late in more ways than one, late meaning milk and late because we're actually late. But anyway, we're going to be going, it looks like they fixed the air bridge, by the way, that's good, and we can get everybody on board now. We should be departing in about 5 minutes. I've literally just sat down, I don't think that's happening. But hey, we'll see. Maybe they make up some time on the route. I have every confidence in Air France's crew to get us here on time. The French are renowned for their efficiency, after all.
But soon, 27 minutes after our scheduled departure time, we pushed back from the gate to get on our way for the next leg of the flight, back to the US of A, baby. Oh, and by the way, we've just started shipping merch anywhere in the world, so if you'd like to support the channel and pick something up for yourself or a loved one, check out the store. The link's on the screen.
Alrighty then, airborne once more on the Air France A320. This is the big one. This is a 3-hour flight now from Guadeloupe all the way up to Miami. It feels so strange to be flying on an Air France A320 into Florida. Let's get back to America.
Flying this route really makes you think. At the end of the day, it's just an ordinary Air France A320, the same kind of plane you take between Paris and Frankfurt. It's not especially comfy, it's not especially cheap either, at nearly $1,700 for a one-way ticket, and with delays and the chaos of transiting the island, it's not exactly smooth sailing either. But what makes it special is that it exists at all. Most people have no idea you can hopscotch your way from South America to Florida on a single Air France plane, and that alone, I think, makes this one of the world's most unique routes, and absolutely worth experiencing.
Right, there we are, just beginning our descent down into Miami.
It's been a long day, and this unusual little hopscotch route has been fascinating to experience, but I have to say, after all of the delays, the chaos and the cramped A320 seats, I was more than ready to get back on US soil. Miami was in sight and I couldn't wait to be homeward bound again. After 7 hours in the air, I was finally back on the ground in Florida.
Mesdames, Messieurs, bienvenue à Miami, à l'aéroport international. Il est 19h54
7 hours after leaving French Guiana, this little Air France A320 had carried me across South America, the Caribbean, and finally here to Florida. It's still so strange seeing this very European aircraft taxiing around among American airlines in Miami. A quirky route, a bizarre experience, but one of the most unique ways to cross the Americas.
Welcome back to Miami in Florida, straight through immigration there, no trouble at all, straight through global entry in about 30 seconds, heading now for my next flight. That was cool, wasn't it? Flying Air France's little Caribbean route network they've got there. What did you reckon to that? Let me know down in those comments. But in the meantime, I'm off home now. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.